Okay, so I'm going to bitch about the bar business, the modern bar business in America. I mean, around the, it's the modern bar business. What's wrong with it? Why? Everybody's saying, well, the reason not many people go to the bars is because of the drinking. The DUI laws are tougher. That's not the whole thing. It's because when it comes to the local bars, like the local independent bar owners, they're to blame for making their bars so boring. Nobody wants to go anymore. Okay, now I'm 53. I said this before. I'm 53 years old. 20 years ago, I remember what bars were like. A lot of people in their 20s and 25s and mid 20s nowadays, even 30s, they weren't old enough to go into bars 20 years ago. Even if you're 30 years old, you were what? You know, you were 10 years old. And I'm 53, and I remember what the bar business was like. And you know, I started going to bars when I was in 1988. Wait, yeah, in 1989, I started going to bars. Okay, I was old enough. I was 21. I know what happened back then. A lot of you younger, like in your 30s, you were too young to go to bars back then, so you can't talk. You don't know what they were really like. I was living in Minnesota most of the time back then. I was living in Minnesota. I lived in Illinois, and I lived Florida, and those three states up until that time. Where else did I live? I've in Indianapolis, lived there for a while. So I've lived in different areas, and it was always the same thing. It's like, see, 20 years ago, bartenders were paid to be entertainers, and every bar I've ever been to back then, I don't care if it was an Applebee's, a franchise bar, I don't care if it was an independent bar, independently owned, I don't care if it was a corporate owned bar, didn't matter. I don't care if it was in Vegas, I don't care if it was in Disney World, I don't care if it was in BF freaking Indiana or BF Minnesota or BF wherever. Every bar hired a hot ass looking model looking woman to work the bar, at least two or three of them. Every woman behind that bar, they would hire a model quality bartender. Okay, I mean, you had to be gorgeous. It was like the second best job for a model. If they couldn't get like a modeling job, their second best job, the second best choice was to be a bartender 20 years ago. Okay, because they were not just paid to pour drinks back then. They were paid to entertain, talk to customers. They were actually encouraged to talk to customers, flirt with customers 20 years ago. Okay, they were act behind the bar. That's the way they used to be. It made the bar more fun. There's two reasons why they did that. Two good reasons why they made bartenders ran the bar. See, the way it used to run, you had the manager, he ran the whole overhead manager. Then you had the head chef run the kitchen, and the bartender she ran the dining room. The head bartender she managed the dining room. The whole dining room used to be managed by the head bartender. Okay, she was the third. She was like the part of the three in charge was the bartender, the head bartender. That's the way it used to be. You didn't have a bar manager back then. You had the bartender was the manager. Okay, she had all the responsibilities in the dining room. She had to be part nurse. She had to be part chemist to mix the drinks. She had to do everything. She had to know how to do everything. She had to know how to entertain. She had to know how to do everything. Nowadays, the bartenders are the opposite. All they do, they're mindless drink pourers now, you know. But back in the day, and there's two good reasons why you do that with the bartender. You make them talk to customers. A, it makes it more entertaining. B, they can find out how drunk they're getting as they serve them alcohol when they talk to them. Okay, that's another good reason why they did that. Okay, because you have people walk into the bar, they're by themselves, they don't have any friends in the area, or you could have a salesman. Say you have someone who's married, he's happily married with kids, and he's traveling through town, and he goes to the bar, and he's by himself too. Well, you have a lot of people on their own. They go up to the bar, and here's the thing: if you're not drinking, you're talking. If you're not talking, you're drinking. So you have these people who don't know anybody, and and so no one's talking to them. If no one's talking to them, they're going to be drinking and drinking and drinking, because you can't do both at the same time. You can only do one or the other. So they make the bartenders, they learn to spot the lonely people who aren't, they notice There's a guy in the corner not talking to anybody. All he's doing is drinking and drinking and drinking, getting drunker, 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 and drunker, and more dangerous. When he leaves, the bartender will go over there, and that's how they know to cut him off, by talking to him. That's how. See, and nowadays it's so stupid now that the bartenders can't, because the thing is, these new idiot modern bar owners, see what happened is they've reversed everything. Now they, like back in the day, they hired the best looking woman in the bar was the bartender, not back 20 years ago. And nowadays it's the opposite. It's like the ugliest woman in the bar, the least attractive woman in the bar is now the bartender nowadays. Because the thing is, the bar owners, they were seeing that, a good looking woman is going to attract attention from the customers, and they're going to want to talk to her, and they think, that's getting in the way of her making money off the alcohol, because the bar owners are thinking, well, we make money off the alcohol, we don't make money off our bartenders talking to the customers, right? But anyway, that's what they think. They go, we get money off the alcohol she's pouring, and they're thinking, well, her talking to customers is slowing her down from pouring drinks where they think they make all the money from the alcohol sales. But the problem is they make their bars so boring because they hire these drab, boring, fat, ugly, not entertaining at all, not personable at all bartenders to work the bar now. And now the bar's so damn boring, nobody wants to even go to it anymore because it's so boring. See, the bar's supposed to be a fun place to be. It's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be, the bar's supposed to be a fun place to be. Okay, but it's so boring now. That's why people don't want to go to the bars, because it's just too damn boring. Because most guys go to the bar when you go to, typically the way it used to work, I don't know if it works. I don't go to bars anymore because they're boring. Because back in the day, men went to the bar, women sat at the tables. That's why you didn't have male bartenders unless you had a gay bar. If you had an ordinary bar, this is why you had women bartenders, because they know from experience, men go to the bar, straight men, I'm talking about straight men, they don't want to see another guy behind the bar because it's like being in a gay bar. They want to see a hot ass looking woman serving them drinks. It adds to the whole atmosphere of the fun part when you're a straight man, okay? You want good looking women behind the bar, you want a good tasting barbecue, and you want a good alcohol. It just all gels together fine in a nice, fun looking bar atmosphere. It all gels together. It all fits, you know. But now, like I said, and I mean, there was two reasons why you had the bartenders talk to customers like that, because they could find out when to cut them off by talking to them, because they could tell they're slurring their words, they're getting drunk, they're looking at their eyes. They could tell. And nowadays, if they don't talk to the customers, they don't get the associate, they don't get the contact the customers, just pour them drinks. They're never going to know how drunk they are now, because they're not paying attention to them. When they're talking to them, they're paying attention to them, and that's the reason. That's the sole reason, really, why they wanted bartenders to entertain their guests, so they could see how drunk they were getting, and know when to cut them off, before they went out and ran someone over, and the bar get sued and put out of business. See, when you run a bar, the bartender's the beauty. When you and the way you protect her is your bouncers are the beast. I mean, you're going to have hot looking ass women behind your bar. You're going to have to hire monsters to protect them, called the bouncers. So you have to so the bouncers are going to be the biggest beasts in the room, and your bartenders are the biggest beauties in the room, are the best beauties, most gorgeous beauties in the room. Because bartending used to be a real job back then. It was a hard job back then. That's the problem. It's too easy now. Bartending's too easy. Any idiot can do it now. But back in the day, they had to be part nurse. They had to be, like I said, they had to be a chemist. They had to know how to mix the drink right, so they had to know chemistry. They really do. They had to be entertainers back then. I mean, I'm talking about every bar. I'm not just talking about like a Disney bar or whatever. I'm talking about a traditional bar. It was that way. And now, and that's what's killing the bar business. They're so boring. They're so just like, nobody wants to go anymore. And if I do my thing, I'm going to Ukraine to do my business, because in America, I hate to say, I'm gonna talk about this next. What happened to the women in America, as far as I'm concerned? Why I like Eastern European women better now. So that about do it. Come back with my third part